working with it. So that was really upsetting to me, guys. I'm sorry. When I talk about it, I get emotional, so I'm trying to kind of like make myself laugh a little bit as I'm doing this. Yeah, I didn't do anything, and I was really frustrated because I put myself through a lot.
What's good?
What's good? What's good?
Abena Rose and no, I'm kidding.
No, can you give me my highlight? Say hi. Okay, he's just so hyper. Hey. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another week on Eve's Eyes. And we have a beautiful sister in the building. I am so happy to have her. See the Lymphoma. See the beauty puffin.
She's a beautiful girl too, right here. You guys get to see her all the time on this channel.
Yes. But today we're bringing you some greatness.
Amen.
So yes, this is honestly one of those sessions where I'm like, okay, you know what? There was something that was laying upon my heart. I had to give you my testimony. So one day I was like, just laying in bed, you know, as always, prayer, you know, and then all of a sudden I was just like praying. I usually pray about, you know, things to do next or what move to make next, and then it came upon my heart that Rose has to be on this channel. I don't know how it worked, and then the funny thing is that as soon as I messaged her, I'm like, God, are you sure that everything worked out by the grace of God? Even today, probably was not supposed to happen because of the timing, but God made it work.
Amen.
So yes, without further ado, let me tell you, before we start, you have to do 3 things. You have to LSS, like, subscribe.
Is it like, comment, and subscribe? Like, share, and subscribe.
She got it right, but she forgot to put it the share before the Abena. I know they know me, actress, host, model, but who are you? Tell us a little bit about Abena.
Hi guys, my name is Rose. I am Ghanaian. I'm a Christian.
Yes.
And I'm currently a student at McMaster University. I'm studying honors in social psychology. I'm also a vlogger. I'm not as oh my gosh.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Just be yourself here. You are a vlogger, yes. Continue.
Yeah, but you are doing it. Like I want to say this. I'm a vlogger, but she is killing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I vlog, like I make a vlog like once a month, and this girl's constantly putting out the work, man.
I understand, and I take the
compliment. I keep it real.
But guess what? Someone's out there who has not dropped anything, so therefore you have put in the work. So don't underestimate where you're starting.
Amen.
You will get there.
I remember one time I was talking to you and I was telling you that I'm going to.
Yes.
You're motivating me, and I'm going to do better.
Yes.
I'm still gonna do better. I'm gonna post more vlogs and stuff like that. I love this girl. I watch her all the time.
Aww.
But anyways, let me get back to the intro.
Yes.
So I'm a vlogger, and I'm also a cancer survivor. So you know. And that's all by the grace of God. That's what we're going to be talking about a little bit in this mostly in this video.
Yes.
But who I am is, I'm just someone that's really, I try to be positive. I try to be uplifting. You know, I love fashion. I love beauty. I love health and fitness. My fitness journey is a little different though, because I went from being very, very skinny and like just straight and narrow, and it's like I went into trying to be curvy. So I went from, a lot of people want to be smaller. I wanted to gain a little bit because I wanted to be that voluptuous, and I think I'm there now. Praise the Lord. So
girl, if you guys see her, if she stands up, it's a different case. But we can't do that right now. But yes. But we thank God. Amen. Honestly, you are a living testimony.
No, thank you.
Oh my goodness. Like even, I'm even about to get chills because like, if you had seen where she started from to where she is right now, in our language we say Ayadum.
Amen.
Like Ayadum. So like Adum means grace.
Grace.
By the grace of God.
By the grace of God.
Yes. So today, yes, I have a few questions, and I know I have to pinpoint these, you know, things just to bring out the truth and to bring out someone might be watching and might be going through this, and I don't know who it is, but for whoever it is, here's the Spirit of God going to speak. So, so I'm going to take you way back. How did you know you had cancer?
Okay, so basically it happened, I was diagnosed in 2013.
Okay. How old were you?
At that time I was 24.
Very young.
Yeah, very young. So 2013. Yeah. And then I'm in my 3rd year in my honors program. because I had already gotten a diploma in arts and sciences. So now I'm upgrading and I'm doing the psychology, neuroscience, and behavior program at McMaster. And I was at that time I was at a friend's house, and I was laying in the couch, and out of nowhere I felt a pain in my armpit. I felt a pain in my armpit, and I remember jumping up. Like, it was a different pain. It wasn't a pain that I was used to. So I remember jumping up and saying, "Ow," you know? And then my friend's mom was like, "Oh, what's wrong? Are you okay? What's wrong?" And I said, "I don't know. I just felt a weird pain in my armpit." And then I remember her saying, "Oh, I hope it's nothing serious." So it's kind of weird that she even said that, but because I didn't think I remember at that time when she said that, I was like, why would it be serious? It's just a weird pain. You know?
Yeah. But how severe was this pain? Like, was it an unbearable?
It was like a sharp,
like something like pin, like.
Yeah, like it was one of those pains that doesn't happen a lot, but it was like an intense sharp pain. Like a needle. Like,
okay,
it's like
there we go.
Kind of like a needle shooting through your, like, my armpit at that time.
Okay.
So I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a weird, intense, sharp pain.
Okay.
I ended up going to a walk-in clinic in Hamilton because after that pain, like a week or so after, I felt a lump. And, you know, females get, a lot of times we get swelling from sweat,
yes.
from like stress or hormones or whatever. So I just thought it was one of those things, but this time it was different because the swelling was staying. It wasn't going away. So that's what made me go, because I initially went into the office thinking like, oh, it's an infection. It turned into an infection. I'm going to get some antibiotics and then it's going to go away. I didn't even go in there thinking like, oh, you know, something was going to be wrong. So can picture this. I'm just going in there thinking nothing is wrong. I'm just going to get antibiotics. It's going to be good. And so I go into the office and the doctor comes in, checks me out and everything like that. And he asks me, he says, and this was like the shocker for me. He goes, is there any history of cancer in your family? And I was like, excuse me? Because I was not like, that was not even my frame of mind whatsoever. Like thinking like cancer or anything like that. I was just like, what do you mean? Like, but I said no, not that I know of. Like, there's no. And he's like, okay. He's like, we're gonna have to do a biopsy. And I'm like,
how was the color on your armpit? Like, what did it?
It was normal. Like, my armpit was brown. Like, you know, it's just the color of my skin. The only thing that was different was the lump. Like, I could feel this hard lump in my armpit.
Wow. Okay.
And at that time, it was like about this.
Okay.
It was about this small. You know. So like, it wasn't even like big, but I knew something was off. I just thought it was an infection. So then he said he's gonna schedule me a biopsy. He ended up I don't know what happened, but the office didn't end up scheduling the biopsy. So I waited for a month. So in that time that I was waiting, the lump got bigger, and it was about this size now. And that's when I was like, yo, like, this is not normal. Something's like going on.
Yes.
My dad is a minister, so I called my dad at this time. I already talked to him, and he's been calming me down. He's telling me all things, that there's nothing wrong. Even if these doctors say they're gonna find something, we rebuke it in the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And then he ended up contacting our family doctor to do the biopsy because he didn't. At this point, like, I waited for a month. This doctor didn't even, the office messed up. So I went to London and right away they did an emergency biopsy. So I got my results back in like a week, and then they were like, we have bad news for you. We found lymphoma cancer. And I think I was in a state...
Lymphoma? Lymphoma cancer, okay.
Lymphoma cancer. Okay. I think I was in a state of shock because I was not expecting that. I expected them to come back and say, oh, it's just like a cyst or something, you know? And I actually told the doctor, I'm like, I don't believe that. I said, I don't believe you. I want to do another biopsy. That was my response.
Wow.
And they're like, we normally don't do 2 biopsies for this. And I said, I'm not going to do anything unless you're giving me another biopsy. So he actually did another biopsy, and then it came back the same results, that it was lymphoma. And then they told me that it was like the most aggressive kind of lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, B-cell, diffuse B-cell, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so aggressive meaning that it spreads very, very fast. And so in that time, they were like, we need to start you on like this kind of chemo and this and that. We need to get started right away, or within a month, maybe 2 months, you'd be dead. That's how serious.
They told you in 2 months you would be dead.
Yeah, because the lymphoma was so aggressive, meaning that it was just spreading everywhere.
So where does it first attack? From the armpit?
It started the start site was the armpit.
The armpit, and then where does it progress to?
Well, this one was it progressed to my kidneys, my spleen, my liver. It was spreading to my chest here. Like by the end of it, it was like in my chest here, but you know, I know God was in control here, because it didn't even spread to my boobs, which was really confusing to the doctors. Because once it gets in your boobs,
Yeah.
it's even more like
Aggressive.
because it's like once the doctors told me they didn't want it to spread to my boobs because that was going to be like even a more difficult situation.
Okay.
So it was weird for them that it had spread all like to my chest here. It had spread into my spleen. It had spread into my liver and my kidneys, and it was spreading down onto my like lower area. But it hadn't touched my legs yet. But it did not touch my chest. It was just weird. Wow. They didn't understand it. It was in my neck here too.
Wow.
So I initially, because I am a person of faith, and I also do a lot of my own research and everything that I do. Like, I'm not someone that when a doctor says jump, I jump. I like to do my own research. So I initially refused chemotherapy because I said, no, I believe in Jesus Christ, and I know that God is going to help me through this, and that he has a way for me to get through this. You know, there's something coming. At that time, I'm just taking a shot in the dark here, God. I'm using my faith, you know what I'm saying? And the doctors kind of looked at me like, what? You know, because they're not used to that. They don't have people telling them, especially cancer patients that are I was stage 1, and like within a month I was stage 4. That's how aggressive it was.
Wow.
Within a month. It was it went from boom boom. You know, so
it didn't even give you time to
so
even...
their diagnosis was correct. Their prognosis, meaning that they said within a month to 2 months I'd be dead because it spread that fast. Like, it was crazy. You know what I mean? I'm saying, but it didn't pass though. Their prognosis didn't come to pass because even though when I told them that, they said, you know, you're gonna, this is, if you do this, the chances are you're gonna die.
Is there anything that could have triggered that cancer that you would be able to say, like, maybe this?
Let me just say this. I know this is gonna be scary for a lot of people out there, but we live in a society that basically breeds cancer. I'm not gonna lie to you. We live in a society where our foods are covered in wax. Our foods have chemicals in them and toxins in them. What we're doing is we're pumping our bodies with sugar, salts. We're pumping our bodies with these things that our body's like, what are you doing? We're filling our body with things that cause free radicals in our body. So free radicals can lead to cancer. So our cells are multiplying, and that's what causes the cancer.
Yes.
So instead of us giving our body things such as antioxidants, enzymes that help our body digest foods, enzymes that purify our blood, we're not doing that. We're eating a lot of junk foods. We're eating a lot of, and I was doing that too. I was just a regular person, just, I would go out sometimes and I would eat my junk and stuff like that. But the crazy thing is, and I don't know, I'm telling you guys, God knows what is coming your way. Because like a year before I was diagnosed, I had switched my life around and I was starting to eat healthy.
Wow, okay.
I had started to eat healthy. So I was eating a lot of organic food. I was eating a lot of, I was juicing. And it was just because of just reading up on health and being with someone that was really into health. So I just had changed my whole lifestyle. Imagine I hadn't changed my health before I was diagnosed. I would have been way worse off. It's like God knew that something was coming and he was like, no, we're gonna prepare you, and this is how you're gonna survive. And it's like, I think back to that and I just thank the Lord. Man. He had everything, like he had a roadmap to my success basically, even before I knew it.
Wow.
And it gets me emotional when I talk about that because it's like, I think back to that point, and at that time I didn't know, I was regular, I wasn't worried about my health or anything. I didn't know anything. And then to think that God already knew that something was coming and that he was already preparing me to beat it. You know what I mean? He was already getting me ready. Even though it hadn't been diagnosed yet, even though it hadn't started yet, he was already getting me prepared to beat it. That's crazy to me. That's the God we serve. You know?
Amen.
That's the God we serve.
He won't give you more than you can bear.
Amen.
He prepared you a year before.
Before I was even diagnosed.
Please,
that's crazy.
This is a blessing. This is a testimony.
Amen.
What was the things that were going through your mind? Like, take us back.
I think I was just in a state of shock. Okay. And I think the biggest thing was for me was I don't believe this.
You didn't accept it.
I didn't accept it.
So that's the word. Don't accept it.
I didn't accept it. The doctors did, like, it was like they're shocked because I didn't react how they expected me to react. Okay. When they told me that, they were kind of like, do you understand what we're telling you? Because I was just sitting there. And it's like, the whole time I was like I didn't react, because I didn't want to accept it. I said, oh, I heard you, but I just know that this is not going to beat me. And that was the first thing that I said to them. And I remember they gave me a form on my first appointment. And the form said, what are your concerns about your journey, your upcoming journey? And I said, I'm not concerned. I wrote, I'm not concerned because I have Jesus. So yeah, I was going full force with Jesus Christ. I was ready, you know.
She wasn't playing with you.
I wasn't playing.
She wasn't playing. She wasn't playing with the cancer.
Nope.
No.
So, you know, they were kind of like shocked. But I remember when I refused, it kind of like changed. Things kind of changed because they labeled me as like, you know, they were like, okay, this girl is a problem. You know, she's not listening. She doesn't want to do chemotherapy. The doctor, I remember one doctor thought I was suicidal because they're like, you're not going to survive without chemotherapy. Within 2 months, I didn't do chemotherapy until a year later.
Of having the cancer that was
until like the next year, I didn't do chemotherapy. So I beat their prognosis. I was doing a lot of natural herbs.
Okay, so give us details on what.
So like
you did.
I changed my diet completely. So now it was completely organic.
Organic.
Mostly, all I was literally doing was making juices, fruits, vegetables, organic only. Lemons were I love my lemons. I had like 13 lemons a day.
You drank them, or
I would juice them. I would juice them and drink some. I would make some into a tea. Some of them I would have like as a juice.
A juice, okay.
And no sugars, nothing. I wasn't having no sugars, no meats, no dairies, nothing.
Okay.
Everything was just purely fruits and vegetables. I had one cooked meal a week, and that cooked meal was vegan. So I was an organic vegan at that point.
Already.
Yeah. I was like, so I had to change my that's the thing. A lot of people that have cancers or I don't want to say have cancers. A lot of people that are diagnosed with cancers, because what we don't want to do is claim it. Yes. A lot of people that are diagnosed with cancers, they don't realize that what they're putting into their bodies can be feeding the cancer or killing the cancer. I had to tell myself every day when I would pick something up to eat, I would say, am I feeding the cancer cells or am I killing the cancer cells right now?
Okay.
So that was, if you ask yourself that, just know, is this organic? If you're not eating just fruits and vegetables, if you're not eating something that has a lot of, it has a high pH level, has a lot of antioxidants and stuff like that, you're not going to be killing the cancer cells. You want to starve the cancer cells. Cancer wants starch. It wants sugars. It wants salts. It wants all those things. So if you're not giving it those things, it wants an acidic environment. So I wanted to put my body into a high pH level. I wanted an alkaline state.
Alkaline state?
An alkaline state is anything above 7 pH.
Okay.
Anything below 7 pH, so 6 and under is acidic.
Whoa.
Yes.
So I have a question. Is it like a keto? Is it like a keto? What's keto and what's alkaline?
Keto is diet. Diet is like you can have like you can't have no grains, no breads, nothing like that, but you can eat anything that's like not grain. So you can have like you can still have meats and stuff. But I didn't even do that. I did the Gerson diet.
Gerson diet.
That's the one that's just fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, juicing and all that kind of stuff.
So did you
organic.
eat chicken as well?
No
chicken?
I didn't eat nothing. Just fruits and vegetables.
That's why you were smaller. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was tiny.
She was really tiny.
I literally was like this. I was a stick.
But she was a beautiful, beautiful woman. Like if you saw her, you didn't even look at her like that. Like you're like, ooh, like. Wow.
Thank you. I just looked like a very, really sick, skinny. I didn't look sick. I looked like a very skinny person.
Yes, but not skinny, but me, I thought you were a model at that point. Like I
was modeling.
Yeah, you see, I wasn't playing. See, so I thought that way. I wasn't thinking like you were sick or anything.
You know, that's a thing.
And she was slaying.
Because of the way that I was living my life, I was able to have energy and do things. Even though I wasn't allowed to, I had to stop school. Because I couldn't be in school when I was going through that. It was too much. And there was times that I was really weak and times that I was really sick. But overall, I was doing really good. I was able to go out at certain times. I was able to do modeling at certain times. I was able to do certain things that a lot of, people wouldn't have the energy for, especially dealing with stage 4 cancer and being in that weak state. But I know it's because I was feeding my body things that were giving my body energy. Like, I brought my body, when I first measured my pH level, my body was, I think it was 3. Which is really acidic.
Wow.
And then at the end of it, my body was at 8 point something.
8 point something.
Yeah, so that's like a huge jump.
Yes.
So my body was now in an alkaline state, and cancer cells and disease cannot live in an alkaline state. So the only way that you get your body into an alkaline state is changing how you eat. How you eat and what you put in your body. I was taking guinea hen tea, like I said, the lemons, no sugars, no dairy, no meats, just organic juicing. I was having my soursop. My soursop tea was a big one too. Like I had like greens plus, it's a powder. I was making maca powder, moringa. Like I was apple cider vinegar. I'm still doing my apple cider. I still make my
I see it on your snap.
I still have my toxin detoxes every day.
Wow.
And a big one, And I think this is something that a lot of people have to change their minds about, especially cannabis, weed. I'm telling you guys right now.
Sorry,
I'm telling you guys.
But tell them how you did it. It's not like the weed where you roll up. No. Please explain to us what it is. Yes.
I think a lot of people have a misconception about cannabis because all they think about when they think about weed is people smoking a blunt. Mm-hmm. Weed, I'm telling you right now, the plant is a miracle plant. The plant kills cancer cells. The plant kills epilepsy. It helps with heart disease. It helps with seizures. It helps with so many things that people don't understand. But because the government would lose billions of dollars if they had introduced, okay, let me tell you, cancer makes, I think it's $1 billion a year plus. Cancer is a big business for the government. So they're not going to introduce a plant that is known to be killing cancer cells. It was Rick Simpson was someone that realized the cannabis plants helped cancer cells, and so what I ended up doing I learned how to make it with someone at one point. Made it myself, the oil. So it's an oil.
Okay.
And you put a little bit on your finger and you rub it on your gums 3 times a day. Does it make you high? Yes. It does. But did I care? No, because I wanted to live. So I didn't care about that. You guys need to take that out of your mind. The fact that you were high doesn't make a difference. My family ended up supporting me 100%. And I come from a very strict Ghanaian family. My dad is a minister. And when he realized, and I showed him all the research, and I showed him videos of people that were left for dead, that are now alive because of cannabis oil, he's like, okay, let's do this. Because he realized the Bible tells us that we need to heal ourselves with the herbs and the fruits of this world. This is literally in the Bible. The Bible tells us that this is an okay thing. God has given us provisions so that we can get anything that comes into our body as an ailment out. He has provided for us. And people don't take use of the provisions that he's given us. So once I realized the benefits of cannabis, I started taking the oil. And I wasn't just doing it to get high. No, this is someone I was on my deathbed, basically. But I was doing it because I had faith and knew that it was going to make a difference. Let me tell you, as soon as I started taking the cannabis oil, I went into a state called tumor lysis. I'm sorry if I'm not saying correct.
Okay,
it's a medical term.
Please.
Basically, at this point, when I had started the oil, the tumor, not my tumor.
Okay.
The tumor was about this big.
Okay.
Let's say a softball, so like it was huge.
Okay.
And the cannabis oil literally broke down the tumor in like days. The doctors were confused.
The what? Let me get that part again.
The cannabis oil broke down the tumor. Like it started.
It ate it alive.
It started to break down. I ended up in the hospital because I was doing trial and error. Okay, so I was someone that was testing different things. I ended up in the hospital because I didn't know how strong the cannabis oil was gonna be. I didn't know how good it was gonna work. So my body was shocked. Because your spleen is something that filters toxins out of your body.
Okay.
So my spleen was shocked because it had so many toxins from the tumor coming through it. And so my spleen swelled up. And I was in so much pain that my sister, who's now a nurse, she was like, we need to go to the hospital because my spleen has swollen up. It couldn't filter enough the toxins that were coming through it.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should have learned I was learning my doses. Now I know my doses, So I went to the hospital and the doctors were like, okay, we've never seen a spleen this enlarged. What's going on? I explained the situation to them and they didn't believe that it was the cannabis oil, but I knew 100% that it was that because, God brought so many people to me. You don't understand how many people God brought to me. God brought so many people to tell me about different things. Like medical doctors that you need to pay like $1,000 to see would call me to tell me like, okay, Rose, I saw your video. I saw someone referred you to me. I just wanted to spend time and talk to you about this. And it was like, I didn't even know them. I didn't even have to pay anything for them to give me this advice. It was like God was sending people to me to help me. And that's how I learned about all these things, right? So what I ended up doing is that even though I was in the hospital, I still was taking my cannabis oil. I just lowered the dose because I was like, okay, obviously I was taking too much. I lowered the dose and I started to realize that it's okay, I'm doing better now. So I ended up taking less of the size.
Yes. Okay.
Like it was a grain size amount. Grain size amount on the gums
and then
three times a day.
Okay.
And then I was fine.
Okay.
And then my energy, even though cannabis helps you sleep more, it helps you sleep better. It helped my appetite because I was someone that couldn't really eat at that time. It helped with anxiety because, when you're going through something like that, you can get a lot of anxiety.
Wow.
So it helped with it helped with that, and of course it was killing the cancer cells. But let me tell you, the biggest thing, God had given me all these provisions and herbs. I think God wanted something, like God wanted my story to let people know out there that even if these doctors, or even if the doctors say that everything that they can do wasn't successful, his plans are always successful.
Amen.
Because listen,
God wanted to use your situation
to bring light to, the Bible even tells us that God will bring glory to himself through the things that he does for us. Even though I had refused chemotherapy, I had ended up in the hospital, and at this time doctors used that opportunity to say, okay, well, her spleen is swollen, she refused chemotherapy now, a while back. It's either she does the chemotherapy or we can't help her with her spleen, she needs to go home. And for those of you that don't know, when your spleen is swollen, and it could rupture and kill you at any time. The surgeon that was there had said that was the largest spleen he'd seen in like 20 years. He had seen in his field, like at that time, and he's like, I haven't seen anyone come in here with a spleen this big. And it was hurting me, but I didn't even think it was that big, like of a deal, And so for them to say this stuff, I was like, whoa, like, and they were like, you need to do chemotherapy or else there's nothing that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Because initially the surgeon that was there was saying that they had to remove the spleen right away, and I was like, okay, I'm all for surgery. If you want to do surgery, go ahead, because a person can survive without a spleen. But I was not for the chemotherapy. But then the hematology department, which is like the oncologists and stuff, and oncologists came and were like, well, one of them came. I guess it reached the department that was there, and said, well, she's a hematology patient, and she refused chemotherapy, so we're going to take over from here. And that's when they told me, okay, so if you don't want to do the chemotherapy, there's really nothing that we can do, because the cancer is just going to spread, and you're just going to end up dying. So basically, I didn't really want to do the chemotherapy. That was my thing. That was my goal. And I had been holding on so long, so strong. At this time, I had a lot of people that were following my journey. I had supporters from Germany, Malaysia, Ghana, Nigeria, Canada, US, Europe. Ghana, it was everywhere. And I was like, no, I am doing good. These doctors said I was going to be dead. I'm still here. I'm still strong. This situation is I'm not going to allow them to use this situation to get what they wanted in the first place, which was me on chemotherapy. They
wanted to win.
They wanted to win.
They wanted to take God's glory.
Yes. But you know what? God still used that situation. Because when they told me that, I still refused. And I said, okay, I'm going to go home then. They were kind of like, what?
What's wrong with this girl?
Who is this girl?
Woman of faith.
But I was sitting there on the bed. They had put me in a bed. They gave me a room in a bed. And so my family's surrounding me. And at this time, I'm looking very weak. I'm looking very sick. My spleen is getting worse. So my mom and my dad and my aunts were there, and they were all looking at me like, well, my dad wasn't there at that time. My dad came later on.
Okay.
And they were looking at me, and my aunt was like, Rose, just please, just do one round. Can you do one round? Because, the doctors had said everything that they had to say, and said, your daughter's going to die today if she doesn't do...
Today?
Yeah, because they said my spleen was going to rupture.
I have a question. Did you at any point think you were going to die?
No.
Did you? That gave me chills. At any point?
No.
No fear?
No.
So you had no fear to begin with and no fear to end with?
I will tell you this right now, and I mean it with everything in me. I had other things that bothered me, but it was never death. I never once was bothered by the fact that they thought I was going to die, because I didn't believe it. I never took that in. So death was never something that was in my mind, like, well, Rose, you're going to die. I never thought about it, because I feel like if I did, I probably would have. But death was not my fear at all. The things that bothered me more was the fact that I didn't get to, I had to stop school. I didn't get to be around my friends as much. I had this huge thing over there in my armpit. But I never once, from my beginning of my journey to end, never once thought I was going to die because of cancer. Ever.
Wow.
No.
Wow, we thank God. And how long did you have the cancer for?
I battled from 2013 until the end of basically beginning of 2017.
2013, yeah. For something that said 2 months to live, and you went from 2013 to 2017.
Yeah, literally the end of 2016. So yeah.
Almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years, yeah.
Is that even a part of history?
I don't know.
It must go down in history books from today. I hope someone like Ellen, because honestly, you've been shouting out to Ellen for a long time. before you go, please get my sister on your show.
I would still love to be on Ellen, but I think because my story is about chemo and stuff like that, a lot of people don't want it on their platform.
Yeah, okay.
Because a lot of people don't believe that. They think it's controversial, you know, to say that.
Because then it will ruin the health. Okay.
Because, you know, everyone, it's all about chemotherapy, fight cancer, da-da-da. So some people even look at me like I'm insensitive because I don't push for chemotherapy and I don't believe in that kind of stuff. Like, I have people come to me all the time and say, hey, you know, I have a friend that's passing away from cancer, and right then and there I'm like, well, I don't believe that anyone has to pass away from cancer. Like, I have a family member that was told that they have 6 months to live. How do they cope with this time that they have? And I always say, I don't believe that they have to die. Wow. I have a God that heals.
Amen.
And a lot of people might think that that's insensitive, and they tell me that. They're like, oh, well, or they won't even respond back to that because they've already accepted it. But that's the difference. I never accepted it. I never accepted. You know, the Bible tells us that the righteous shall have a minimum of 71 years. Get 71 or 74. So I'm nowhere near 71 or 74. So I know my time is not now because I'm a part of God's army. Nobody can tell me that, oh, your time is up. Only God can tell me that. And unless and the Bible doesn't speak anything like that against my life.
Yes.
He tells us he gives us life and life abundantly. And he tells us he wants us to prosper in all things. So that's what I go on.
How was your prayer life during this time?
Let me tell you, it wasn't all great. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're being honest.
Some people will think that, oh, I prayed continuously. Let me tell you, I had a fighting battle with God at some times, you know, because there was times where I was like, God, like, I'm using my faith here. I'm doing what you want me to do. You know, why isn't it done? Why am I still, you know, why is the cancer still here? I'm like, thank you. I know I'm alive and I'm grateful and I'm happy. But why is this cancer still here? So it's like I was back and forth with God, you know, but I feel like God was trying to teach me a lot of things through that battle too. He was just trying to teach me his timing. He was trying to teach me, okay, this is the difference. God's timing doesn't mean like God's time is not today. It doesn't mean that he hasn't done it already. God might have done something already. It just hasn't manifested in our time. Do you understand what I'm saying? So even though God had healed me already, because the Bible says by his stripes we're healed, we're already done. It's already done. The manifestation took time. The manifestation into all realm took time. And that was the difference. Because we are such physical people, we are such visual people that we need to see everything right now. God doesn't work like that. I remember sitting in that bed and my family members looking at me like, and they're all Christians too, and one of my aunts just saying, Rose, just please, just do the chemo.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just because of the spleen, and then we can go and then you never have to do it again. Okay. So after I left the hospital, my whole family was like, what the, you know, nothing happened? I was like, there's no change, no, the masses are still the same. I still had the same lumps in my kidneys and my spleen. I mean, remnants in my spleen, my liver, my chest. Literally, everything was the same except for the mass that had been destroyed by the oil.
The oils, okay, the cannabis oil.
Yes.